What's up? It's Jobringus, your favorite inefficient reg. Back for the first time in a long time. I've been not very active the past 2.5 years, roughly. But here we are. I just rejoined the clan today. I been playing a little bit recently. I mean, I would occasionally hop on and off, but not that actively. I think as promised in the last video, like September of 23, I'm at Flesh Crawlers. I've trained some other stats in between then. I switched to using this room because I kind of prefer it. I find it a little less crowded. Not that it's not crowded, but, you know, I find it to be just like a little better. I guess there's a few updates since the last update video, even though I wasn't that active. And interestingly, I noticed that I did have a stats screenshot from December of 2023, but I guess I never filmed an update video. And then again, I was largely inactive. It is currently January 18th, 2026, and I'm 1336 total level. Just took the screenshot you see on the right side a moment ago. Major differences, really, it's just a bunch of defense levels, and I got 99 crafting. A couple miscellaneous levels in there too, 90 or 84 mining, wood cutting level. I think the fishing level was in the video last time. So nothing major, but also at this point all the levels come slower. Crafting was honestly pretty boring, even though it's like quite fast. It just I did not find it very exciting, and I think maybe that was part of what like demotivated me. But also I got busy with other things. Anyways, I've had more time on my hands recently, so I figured I'll play a little RuneScape. I had a little hankering for it. So here we are at Flesh Crawlers. And right now I'm at 89 defense, getting close to 90. I didn't check how many total bone fragments I'm up to, but I have to imagine I have 90 rune crafting banked right now, and probably I will train that next. There's a couple things. I mean, any of these stats that are still in the 80s, I wouldn't mind training next. In fact, I've kind of had a fun time with mining recently. I have come to enjoy training it on mobile. I think that that's easy to get in a good rhythm. I don't do any of the tick manipulation stuff, so I'm looking at somewhere around 50k an hour in the mining guild, but it's a very easy rhythm to follow. Just a couple taps, and I think it's easier with my finger than doing it on the keyboard. So I like that. And rune crafting, I don't know if I'll have the fortitude to just go and one-shot 90, basically. I think with how much time I'll have to play per day, and the fact that I'm using solo body runes in PvP world still as my method, that means that like me getting 50k rune crafting experience is probably a realistic expectation per day. So going all the way to 90, that's something like 3.3 million experience from 80. Or actually more, but it's just 3.3 million experience from where I'm at, because this is pretty much these like maybe 40k XP since hitting 80. I think we're all lamps, so a lot of lamps. It's like 50 lamps. I don't know, I might like checkpoint at a time where I spend 3 weeks and I try and get to 3 mil rune crafting XP, and then I train something else, and then I try and get to 4 mil, and then maybe I try and make it to 90. If I just try and go straight for 90, I think I'm going to be looking at, that's going to be looking at like a little over 2 months with how much I can realistically hope to play per day. I mean, there'll be some days where I'll feel motivated and I'll have time and I'll knock out like, 100k XP. But there's going to be days where I don't have time, or I'm not motivated, or people keep ragging me because it's in the PvP world, and I get like 10k XP. So I got to account for that, that I'm just trying to hit like an average, and I shouldn't play in a way it strains me. If it's something AFK, I can find a couple hours per day to do it usually, like maybe like 3 hours towards an AFK-ish skill, even 4. Granted, that'll of course be inefficient, but that's why I'm the favorite inefficient reg, I guess. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe you don't even like me. But someone said that they really missed the videos, or at least enjoyed the videos when I rejoined the clan. So that was cool to hear. Speaking of which, am I even in the clan chat right now? Yeah, I am. Guess no one's talking. That's fine. I'm on Flesh Crawlers. People just showed up. It's hard to find a world no matter what, but I've actually maybe had better luck in the 500 skill total level worlds because there's just lower level people here. So the zombies will get on them and they'll have to leave to heal way more often than I do. But again, it's like luck of the draw, it's time of day, it's all that stuff. Um, I don't know how long it'll take me to get base 90s. I think that's still going to be my next goal, just picking up where we left off 2.5 years later. Um, Mining is a similar thing. I could probably do like 100k mining XP a day, so that's like less than a month that I've got to go to get 90 there. Attack and ranged, it's just like AFKing down here. I could be more active if I really wanted to, but one of the things I like about training down here is just the bone scepter drops or skull scepter drops, because acquiring the bone fragments in the GE is like a total crapshoot. So the less I'm gonna have to ultimately buy, the better. I'm ultimately gonna have to, almost certainly gonna have to buy some eventually, but the less the better. And again, this is like very AFK. So this is I do this a lot while doing other things, chores, etc. And it adds up. You put in like 10 minutes here, half an hour there, an hour there, and next thing you know, you've gotten like 3 hours worth of grinding down here, just like over 100k XP. It's not bad. For a while, I had been trying like experimenting with different AFK stuff. Like I was doing stars for a bit of mining XP, and it's very AFK, but it's like excruciatingly slow. I don't think I'm going to bother with that going forward, unless I find myself in some odd situation where mining is like the only skill I have left, and I want to train it, be able to train it AFK, but also be able to train it when I'm paying attention. I don't think I'm going to find myself in that situation. Yeah, I think that would be rather unlikely. I think if I get to a point where I only have skills I need to like actively focus on to train, and there's nothing left to AFK, I'm probably still better off coming down here just to farm bone fragments, because inevitably like rune crafting is going to be the bottleneck, or even just something to make money. And like if I get enough money, maybe buying body talismans and switching to tiaras, which are still prohibitively expensive. One of the big things that changed in my absence is that vial ashes actually are really cheap now. I don't know what exactly they're hovering at. I think they bottomed out at something crazy like 30 GP, and now they're maybe closer to 100, but that's still like astoundingly cheap, because I think they got included as like a noted drop from some thieving little activity in the wilderness, some chest I want to say, and then just immediately they crashed from that. So that's helped tremendously. Big bones still fluctuate wildly, and they're honestly like relatively expensive. Not as crazy as they got at some point, but just the cost of prayer XP, if you're scatter burying, is so much lower than it used to be. And like anything else, it's like not even a consideration anymore of like, would I use big bones for this? It's like just use the vial ashes. I mean, it's even if I wanted to be like cheaper about prayer, which I don't need to be because I think I have 99 banked, then I could just use the vial ashes because they're like 3 GP per XP. And I guess one of the other updates that happened before in my absence is that we got bonfires. What are they called? Forester campfires. I mean, it's bonfires from RS3. And that means that I could AFK train fire making if I really wanted to. I still think I'll probably opt to train it while paying attention. So I could sneak in a little bit of zero time prayer, and it's just so much faster, but it is very AFK. So it's a consideration. Again, I don't really think I'll run out of AFK stuff to train, with like how relatively slow combat goes and how my time is relatively well spent down here. I think I'm going to do a lot of combat training down here. I don't even know if there's any other like interesting skills to talk about, especially since it's starting to get rounded out. I have not felt like doing any cooking training, even though I've had it banked for years now. I could knock out this 99 in a couple days. I don't think it's only maybe like 10 hours of making wines. I don't have the fortitude to do that in a day, or even 2 days, but probably like 3 to 4 days. I could find it in me, and definitely in like a week, I could easily knock that out, doing a little more than an hour per day. So that'll just be whenever I feel like it. But the thing is, I don't really feel like it, and that's fine. Um, if I feel like getting an easy peasy 99, I'll get there. But it's just a few hours. That's like the irony is like the less hours it is, I'm like, yeah, I'm basically there. I don't know what else to really ramble about. I like to historically keep these videos somewhere around like 20 to 30 minutes because when I'm grinding, I sometimes like just some easy listening to enjoy, and it's fun when it's relevant to what I'm doing. It's fun when it's actually a RuneScape video. I don't have to pay too much attention. Um, I don't really know how I'm going to finish off Magic. For a while, I was doing high alks for a lot of my Magic XP. That was just like me smithing my own rune items and then alking them, or me buying rune items in that one clan or on the Grand Exchange and then high alking them. That was honestly really good money for being self-funded. But one of the things I did before Hiatus was like transfer a bunch of money from my old main that I was never going to use again, and that was like an 80 mil cash infusion. Plus stuff's gotten cheaper, and I had already made a decent bit of my own money here anyway. So there is you do gain a lot of Magic XP just training rune crafting as solo body runes, because every inventory of the body runes is, I want to say it was like 180 XP. And then the teleport spell was somewhere, I don't know, 34 XP, something like that. It's like a 1 to 5 or so ratio of XP, of magic XP to runecrafting XP. Which means if I do body runes for the remaining almost 11 mil runecrafting XP, I say almost because there will be some lamps on the way. That means that I'm looking at something like 2.2 mil magic XP just from teleports, and that's gonna get me to level like 93 or so. So I'm still gonna need to figure out another 5 million magic XP or so, but that gets me like quite a bit of the way there. And worst case scenario, I could just do it in combat. Someone did the math on the fact that it's actually like pretty fast magic training to use fire spells against ice giants and ice warriors. So that's a possibility. I don't remember if I'm low enough level that they'll be aggressive on me. It's a thing to keep in mind. I could always go back to alking just because it's pretty easy to do. Especially if I ever find in my heart to just like 0 times sneak in the alking. I could also do mining and superheating. I don't even know what a nature rune costs anymore, but that's always been like a pretty solid method. So that's a distinct possibility that it's what I do, because it's like 0 time and pretty cheap, and I don't know how it'll work out on mobile. I think it probably won't be that bad, especially like I don't need to sneak in that many superheats to knock out the remaining, XP to 99. So as long as I'm superheating like 1 to 2 ores per cycle, I'm probably going to be okay. And again, if I have to like manually train for some amount of it, it'll work itself out. Plus, I never did get around to doing all those clue scrolls. It's just a thing that I'll maybe someday do in the future. And if I do, then I'm probably going to need to do a bunch of teleporting for it. I don't think it'll be like this enormous amount of teleporting, but it'll probably add up to something. I did do the math on how many days, if I can play like 2 hours actively versus like 3 hours AFK per day, how many days it would roughly take me to max. I didn't do the math on how long it would take me to get to base 90s. I think I did this math like 2 days ago, and I think it worked out. My estimate said 999. So we'll see if I ever max, I guess. I'll have to play a bunch more. The biggest source would be rune crafting, which would take me like 220 days if I'm doing it at 50 XP, 50k XP a day. Hopefully I would catch some kind of second wind somewhere. And the combats would amount to a lot because I just estimated like 100k XP a day AFKing down here. Realistically, I could probably get more XP than that. Alright, maybe I should cut some of these sapphires. I've just been cutting them and dropping them for a little bit of extra free crafting XP. But since I forgot to do it, now I have to go through the menu for it. So if I do that, yeah, that's a good 2.5 years, almost 3 years. But maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't. We'll see if I stick around. It's like they say, you never actually quit RuneScape. You just take big breaks. So probably I'll end up taking another big break somewhere. But I'm hoping at least I could stick around and up these numbers a little more. And I think that's all I've got for today. So thanks for any of you guys who are still subscribed after so long. And I hope you have a nice evening. Happy grinding.